I just got off the phone with one of my favorite clients. Now, I know that I'm not supposed to have favorites, but when I talk with this girl, I just see myself 10 years ago trying to figure things out, struggling, not feeling confident, very much confused about my identity and purpose and value. And there's just so much that goes on in my mind when it comes to talking with her that I'm like, wow, so much growth, so much healing, the powerhouse that I have become in the decade that I have done this work and really been able to identify human behavior and psychotherapy and just people, relationships, especially the relationship with myself, has been exponential. And the topic that I got to have with her today is one of the topics I know so many people, men and women included, are going to find just life-changing. Like, this is a life-changing topic. And if you really sit down, grab your pen and paper, listen up, it can change your life instantly. Like, overnight, massive difference. In this particular situation, this girlie has a guy that has not treated her the best throughout their relationship. They've been together for a few years, and all in all, she has said she's given him so many chances. He's hurt her in many different ways, and she just does not know what to do. And now he's like completely done with her after a series of events. And she's heartbroken. She's confused. She's angry. She's upset. She feels powerless. She feels helpless. She feels dumb. These are a lot of emotions that shouldn't be the case. Like, quite frankly, breaks my heart for her. But we are all on the journey, right? We're all healing together. We're all figuring out our personal growth and development. And this is an opportunity, no matter how many times you feel like you've ended up in the same situation, just a different person, here's an opportunity to really change your life. So, first and foremost, we've got to talk a little bit about boundaries and the locus of control. The locus of control is a psychological term that basically says, are you in control of your life, or is something else in control of your life? Now, it has been proven over and over again that people that are the most happy and satisfied and successful in life are the ones that have internal locus of control, versus the people that feel like the world is in control of them and they are just going with the flow as much as possible and just riding the waves. That is an external locus of control. Here's the thing. You might hear people say different phrases depending on what their locus of control is. I am always telling people that I may not know the answer, but I'll figure it out. Like, that's my most authentic way to show up whenever I have a problem and I'm like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Like, that is a very internal locus of control. Whenever somebody says, I don't know why this keeps happening to me, or why this person keeps hurting me, or, XYZ is why I didn't show up or I didn't do this, that's an external locus of control. You can also say that accountability is part of this, because when you have an internal locus of control, you have a high amount of accountability. You know when you fucked up, and you know whenever you can do better, and you know when you're not showing up for yourself, right? Versus the opposite. Boundaries, I've said this time and time again on this podcast. There's an entire episode on boundaries, but boundaries are part of understanding and improving your internal locus of control. We do not make boundaries for other people. It is impossible for somebody to respect our boundaries. That's external. The only person that can respect our boundaries is the one that we're looking in the mirror at. It's us. It's me. It's you. So when we break our boundaries, it's because we decided to self-abandon. It's because me, decided to not respect ourselves, not love ourselves. This is so important for the reason I'm having this episode. It's all about value. And value is such an interesting concept. I'm going to tell you the absolute secret to getting everything that you want in life. I'm going to tell you how to become so fucking magnetic that people are drawn to you, want to be around you, choose you, want to be in your life all the time. This is it. This is how you get your ideal partner. This is attraction. This is the 48 laws of power in like one short episode. This is so many things. And it doesn't hurt anybody to do this. That's the beautiful part, is this whole episode, what I'm about to teach you, doesn't hurt anybody. It only helps improve your own self-concept. It only helps improve your own self-love and your own self-respect. That feels so good. So here we go. How do you get anyone you want? How do you get anything you want? It goes back to value. In life, we have two different types of values. We have what's called true value, and we have what's called perceived value. True value is the absolute true value of an item, or in this case, a person. Now, the best way I can explain this is actually through a metaphor of shopping. And for those that love shopping, you're going to be right on board with this with me. So let's go shopping, and let's say that we find a pair of shoes, and this pair of shoes is like amazing. Like, you immediately fell in love with these. You're like, I want to take them home, wrap them up, like, here's my money, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Like, yes, I love these shoes. So you look at these shoes, and let's say that these shoes are about $300. They're some nice shoes, $300 shoes. In your mind, you look at these shoes, and your perceived value of these shoes is $300, right? And here's a concept when it comes to just money and money mindset, I should say. Money mindset is when you can afford something, it's no longer expensive. So let's say you have $300 and you're ready to buy these shoes. You see these shoes as being worth the value of $300. Awesome. That is your perceived value of these shoes. It is what you think these shoes are worth, what you feel these shoes are worth, $300. Now, let's take a minute, walk away. Now I'm going back to these shoes, but I'm the one that manufactures them. I'm the one who makes them. I'm the one that knows the material cost and the labor cost and the housing cost of these shoes. Okay? And let's say the value that I put to make these shoes and make this happen all the way from sole to shelf is $100. That's how much it cost me to make these shoes. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm trying to make money. I'm going to increase the value. That way I can pay my bills, right? And live the beautiful life that I love having. That's why I listed them at $300, right? But I know what's called the true value of these shoes. And the true value of these shoes is $100. And the reason that it's $100 is because that's exactly the amount of money it took me to make, manufacture, distribute, sales, marketing, everything for these shoes. The true value is $100. Ooh, here we go. True value cannot be changed. It is a fact. Perceived value can fluctuate. It can go up, it can go down. True value stays, perceived value fluctuates. This is where things get fun and interesting. We're still shopping, okay? Let's say on Monday, my customer comes in and they see the shoes and they see them for $300. Awesome. But they don't have the money that day. Let's say they don't get paid until Wednesday. So they leave. They know that they're coming back on Wednesday to get these shoes. They love these shoes. I did a good job. Okay. But they find out through a friend or online that I had a sale on Tuesday. And on my sale, these shoes were only $250. They were $50 off. I know my true value is still $100. I know that my customer's perceived value of these shoes on Monday was $300. But I had a sale for these on Tuesday for $250, $50 off. That customer found out. That customer comes back on Wednesday. On Wednesday, this customer is upset because these shoes are $300. The sale is over. $300 shoes. They want those shoes for $50 less. They may even ask me if they can have these shoes for $50 less, because yesterday they got to have them for $50 less. Now, that puts me in a bit of a pickle, because now I have to have a boundary conversation. Now I have to say, no, the sale is over, XYZ. It's not fun to have those conversations. What actually happened here was the perceived value of these shoes changed for my customer. My customer forever will look at these shoes and not want to pay $300 for them anymore. They will want to pay $250. Now, does that mean that they're not going to pay for the $300? No. They might very well just be like, life is life. I'm willing to pay the extra $50 because I really love these shoes. I still think at the end of the day, I'm willing to pay their perceived value of $300, but I actually have this deep subconscious feeling, knowledge, secret, whatever you want to call it, that they're worth $250. The customer will never know that I paid to have them made for $100. They'll never know that. The true value, they never know. They only know the perceived value, which has changed from $300 to $250 to $300. But at the end of the day, they still see it secretly as $250, but they'll tell all of their friends that it was $300. That is the best way to explain perceived value and true value and like cold hard facts. And this is where the magic happens. Let's take out shoes and put it as a person. People are out here trying to figure out why their relationships have gone so far downhill, why they are struggling to find love, why they keep ending up with the same type of person over and over, and it has everything to do about perceived value. People are struggling because there's some people that are getting princess treatment and king treatments, and others that can't get somebody to open up the door for them. This is the solution right here. Perceived value. Okay, let's really break this down. I truly believe that when a baby comes out, the true value of this baby is $100. You cannot tell me that this baby is only worth 89%. No, they are a 100% valuable baby. So much potential, so much growth, so much life to happen. Now, we don't look at a newborn baby and say, hey, you don't have a Harvard degree, you're not valuable. No, we don't do that. We don't say, well, XYZ, you have to go do this before you're valuable. Like, we're already like, you're a perfect little baby. Amazing. We love you. You don't have to do anything. In fact, you actually make our life a little bit more stressful, but we love you. Like, the value's there. 100. Can't tell me it's any less. It's 100. That is carried out throughout your entire life. Doesn't matter if that baby is 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. That baby's value, the true value, does not change. It's 100. But life does not operate off of true value. This is why slavery exists. This is why some people are poor. This is why some people are rich. This is why people, go through horrible circumstances while others have it easy. It's because our reality, of the physical reality that we see, is based off of perceived value with our human interactions. And this perceived value fluctuates throughout our life. It can go up, it can go down. But here is where the magic happens. Is you, me, we get to decide. We have the locus of control, the internal locus of control on what our perceived value is. We get to choose how valuable we are. And it is so much fun once you figure this out. It's not easy to get there, but when it clicks, and it's like, yes, we're at the amusement park. It's so much fun. Perceived value is a choice. You increase your perceived value off of doing a few different things. There's the material ways to increase your perceived value, and then there's the internal ways to increase your perceived value. Materially is very simple for a lot of people. It clicks, it makes sense. But it's not enough, and you're going to figure out why real quick. The material value of something can increase by putting fancy clothes on somebody, luxury clothes. You look at somebody and they're wearing a t-shirt versus, the new Armani bag and like a matching set dress, you're going to perceive the person that's wearing the Armani bag and the new dress as more valuable than the person in the t-shirt with no bag. Does that mean that's the true value? No. Both of them are human beings. But the perceived value is the person with the fancy things is probably worth more or makes more or has more or something XYZ. Perceived, right? Another way to do it is education. When somebody says that that person's a doctor, the perceived value of that individual is higher than someone that didn't go to college, someone that didn't graduate high school. That's why you pay doctors more money than people that don't have high school degrees. The perceived value literally translates to money in that area. Same thing with grooming and fitness. The perceived value of somebody with a six-pack is higher than somebody with a beer belly. Health is valuable. People will recognize that. They think that people that are more healthy produce better offspring. That's value. I'm just being very practical. I'm not trying to offend anybody, not trying to hurt anybody. I'm just trying to explain the concept. That way you can radically improve your life because you're going to have the choice, the locus of control, to make the changes to get what you want or even who you want. So let's keep going. That's all material. There's plenty of people out there that have Armani bags and doctorates or six-packs that are completely unhappy. 100%, like, miserable and get taken advantage of and hurt and are in terrible relationships. Plenty of people out there like that. So what's missing? Well, that goes back to the other form of value. Internal value. The people that are magnetic, the people that really change the game are those that have mastered internal value. Internal value comes in the form of self-love, self-respect. Boundaries. Remember that from earlier? When somebody honors their boundaries, their internal value goes up. Versus when somebody self-abandons their boundaries, their perceived value goes down. This is what happens in relationships with people that are people pleasers. Now, I am a fully healed, recovering people pleaser. Past life Air was a people pleaser. Now current life Air. Some people wouldn't recognize me based off of that alone. Past life Air would say, I love him so much. I want her acceptance so much. I care so much. This hurts. This hurts so much. I've given them so many chances. I've done so. I've literally became perfect for them. But I broke all my boundaries. I forgave them when they lied to me. I forgave them whenever they cheated. I forgave them when they stole from me. I forgave. I crossed all of my boundaries. Right? That perceived value went down every single time I chose to let go of my boundaries for someone else. This is where things get tricky. Because unless you're in an authentic, healthy relationship, it's not called sacrifice and compromise. It's just called sacrifice. In it, you sacrifice twice as a result. You sacrifice when you did it, and you sacrifice later on. Because perceived value goes down. The other person sees how you feel about yourself, where your lines are, what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. And they judge their future circumstances and choices based off of perceived value, not your true value. This is how the world works. So if there is a person in your life that you feel is taking advantage of you, external locus of control, you're actually crossing your own boundaries, lowering your perceived value, and they're just reacting or responding based off the information in front of them. Now, I got really deep into the weeds here. So let me bring this back to our retail analogy. Because you're like, this person's terrible. Like, why would they do that? That's horrible. No. Think practically. Remember, you're shopping, right? You're shopping and you see these pair of shoes. And you see that on Monday, you had to pay full price for these shoes. On Tuesday, they were on discount. On Wednesday, you had to pay full price again. Now, I probably have some people on this podcast that love a good sale and are willing to delay gratification if it means they can get a good sale going, right? There's a large majority of people out there that would wait for these shoes to go back on sale. Or they would go and look for a coupon out there to have these shoes go on sale. Because their perceived value is that these shoes are worth less than $300. That's just smart. Ladies, men are great at this. Men are brilliant because women will do this to themselves and men will just sit back and wait, especially in this day and age. We don't have as many divine masculine men as I would say in previous generations. But that's okay. We still have them. They're everywhere. Like, they're everywhere. I have one. But nonetheless, men are smart. And if a woman purposely crosses her own boundaries, she allows her perceived value to go down. And if her perceived value has gone down, why on earth would a man pay full price when he can get it on discount? When I was dating, that was one of the easiest ways I could weed out a divine, healthy, masculine man versus a fuckboy. Let's be real, right? Or just a guy that just wasn't fully in his like healthy masculine, right? If you don't know what I mean by healthy masculine, you either need to book a one-to-one coaching call with me immediately and we talk about this, or at minimum, you need to go back and look up the episodes about the feminine and the masculine energies. I suggest that you do it ASAP, like, because that is like foundational to start repairing some things that have happened in your life and then start growing, thriving. So, why would they pay full price for something that they could get on discount? That's just math. That maths. So, a woman gets to choose her perceived value. A man gets to choose his perceived value. This is why luxury brands, Armani, Chanel, Stella McCartney, Alexander McQueen, they're never on sale. They never, ever, ever are going to see a 50% off Armani sale. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see any luxury designer brand say that they have this going because it changes their perceived value. They've worked so hard to magnify that perceived value. They're not putting it on sale. They've got you exactly where they want you. You're willing to pay full price for those red bottoms. You're willing to dream about those. You're willing to go out of your way for those shoes. You're willing to do whatever it takes for those shoes. Here's the thing. Perceived value makes you magnetic when you increase it and you maintain it and you hold on to it. I love red bottom shoes. You want to become my friend real quick? Send me a pair of red bottom shoes. I will be like, there for it. These red bottom shoes are in the mall, right? That's where they're home. They're probably in like a pretty like shelf casing type of thing. I can only imagine like the Tiffany style or, some pumps, stilettos, doesn't matter. They're in, Louis Vuitton. They're not here with me in the studio. They're in the mall. Am I thinking about them? I sure am. Am I wanting them? I sure am. Am I desiring them? I sure am. Are they coming to me anytime soon? They're not walking over. I'm going to go to them. They have this perceived value. Now, you could probably caveat me and be like, well, you go get somebody to go bring them to you. And yes, we call that personal shoppers. I get it. That's not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is those shoes are not changing for me. Those shoes have the perceived value that requires the person to go and get them, purchase them, and then you got the shoes. Women are funny because women get scared when it comes to relationships. And what they do is they freak out and they cross their boundaries and then they find out that they're worse off than they ever were before. When you Think about it as far as the shoes. They're not coming to me. I have to go to them. The shoes are not worried that they're not desirable. The shoes are not thinking about when I'm coming. They're not like, oh, it's been a week. She no longer loves me. No, I still love those shoes. I still love them. I guarantee you. I'm still thinking about it. I still desire them, right? They're not concerned about me. They've got their own vibe, right? They're not even concerned if I never show up because they know someone is going to. Someone that can afford them and is ready to bring them home is like XYZ. That's their perceived value. It's so high, they're not thinking about me. They're magnetic in that way. Women come to me, especially heartbroken women, and they're worried. They say, Air, what about if he never comes back? It's such a heartbreaking statement to hear. And it's not because of the man. It really isn't. It's because they have not registered their value yet. And they definitely have not increased their perceived value. Because remember, their true value is enough. But the perceived value of what this man thinks about them right now is lower than what she thinks about him. Ideally, in a healthy, happy relationship, is really neck and neck. I actually prefer, and I think it's healthy, for the man to love the woman just a little bit more. Because that gets that healthy masculine chase flowing going, right? That whole chase and receive. But that's a different topic. Again, book a 1-to-1 if you want to know what I mean by that. But her perceived value is so low with him, and her true value is low within herself, that she's decided that she's not worth 100 anymore, that she's only worth 60 or 30 or 0. And she did that to herself. Going back to the locus of control, she decided this for herself. She's registered a perceived value on herself that isn't reality, isn't true. It is not his fault that he's registering what she's putting out there. So here we go. When a woman decides to increase her perceived value, she becomes magnetic. And it requires 3 things to make it happen: discipline, patience, and respect. Discipline, patience, and respect. This is going to help increase your internal perceived value, not the material. If you want to increase the material, put a nice dress on her. She's going to feel good for a few moments. Awesome. Go get your hair done. You're going to feel good for a few moments. Go exercise. You're going to feel good for a few moments. But the internal perceived value is going to require those 3 things. When you, as a woman or as a man, start investing in those 3 for your internal perceived value, everyone else is going to start registering that. Human behavior will start changing around you. You become the shoes. You become the coveted. You become the desired. You become the wanted. You become the chosen. And your life radically changes. You become magnetic and attractive. Perceived value runs this plane. It's phenomenal. It's energy. It's facts. It's psychology. It's human behavior. You're no longer worried if he's coming back. You're the shoes. Doesn't matter if it's tomorrow, if it's next week. It doesn't matter if it's him. Because someone who can afford you, that can respect you, that can love you, that can desire you, XYZ, however you want to put this down on paper, is coming to get you. You're the shoes. You're those red bottom shoes. Honestly, the red bottom shoes should be sponsoring this at this point. Like, seriously, Christian, call me. So, at the end of the day, perceived value is exactly how you get what you want, who you want, and it's 100% in your power. Welcome to your self concept lesson. But as always, thank you so much